everybody, this is Marlon Fans95, and it is finally time for my review for Suicide Squad. It is very late. Very late, but I told myself I was going to do it, and it is going to be on this channel, so you're going to see my Suicide Squad review. So the first half is going to be spoiler-free, the second half is going to contain spoilers, but if you haven't seen the movie already, then you're probably not going to care about spoilers, but I had it planned this way since it first came out, so I'm going to do it this way. So, how I'm going to do it this time is I have a lot of stuff to talk about, but I don't want to make it overly long, so I'm just going to go in a out-of-order, unorganized, bullet point fashion and just kind of give me my thoughts on certain points of the movie. So, let's go ahead and begin with the opening credits. The opening logos in the movie had some very odd music, and it didn't really fit. I found that very odd, but, you know, it was kind of a nitpick. Moving on, sympathy. That was a huge point in this movie, and I think they did it very well. They were able to make you sympathize with the Suicide Squad, and I think, you know, good job for them for getting the audience to be able to feel something, especially for Deadshot, as he was a main focus. Also, we did see it with some other characters as well, and even the minor characters, we were able to see some sympathy from everybody, and we were able to root for them in the end. Deadshot. He was amazing. Katana was a very interesting character, and I actually did want to see a little bit more, but at the same time, I did like the mystery behind her character, so I did think that they might have balanced her out correctly. Maybe if we did see more, I wouldn't have liked her as much, so I do think that they handled the character well, and maybe leaving some things out for a future movie. I actually did not love the Joker. I know we didn't get to see too much of him, because obviously he had a lot of deleted scenes that we were not able to see, but I was not a big fan. I did think that Heath Ledger did a much better job as the Joker, but I guess to give a fair assessment of how the Joker actually is, and how Jared Leto portrayed him, I do think we need to see more. Harley, I thought, was okay. I was really expecting to really love her in the movie. She wasn't bad at all by any means. I thought she was very good. I expected maybe just a slightly bit more, but I did have a lot of high expectations going into this movie, so that's probably why. But I do think that she was able to, Margot Robbie was able to grasp the character very well. Like, she knew who she was playing. I think she did a great job. I think that Killer Croc was really awesome, and I think the big surprise out of the Suicide Squad was El Diablo. I think that his character was amazing. He had a lot of character development, and I thought that he was just very well developed and cool, and what happens at the end is very crazy. I did not like Rick Flag. I thought that his acting from the actor was very poor. I thought that he was very stale, and I just was not a fan. It's like you didn't feel much for him. It's like he had the, I guess this isn't really a spoiler, but he had the whole thing with June, but his acting was so stale that I just didn't like him or feel for him at all, really. It just didn't feel like an actual movie, and it felt like a cheap TV episode the way he was acting, so I really wasn't a big fan of him. Now, while I did like the music in this movie, I thought that it was a little bit too much like Guardians of the Galaxy, the way they were using the music. Now, at the same time, it's like it didn't stand on its own enough, but at the same time, it kind of is creating maybe a new genre of movies. So it's like where you have the bad guys as the good guys in the movie with some cool music playing every once in a while. So maybe that's what we're heading toward in the future. I thought the humor was very hit or miss. Sometimes I got a chuckle, and sometimes it was just no. So overall, the movie showed a lot of potential, especially at the beginning. It really felt like you were in a Batman comic book or video game or cartoon. It just really had that vibe going for it, and it was just so awesome to see that, especially with the Arkham Asylum and all that stuff. It was just so great and had so much potential. When they got off of the helicopter, it went a little bit downhill, got a little boring. I did like the movie. I did think that it could have been better. But I just thought it was decent. It wasn't something that I thought of when I was really looking forward to this movie. The editing, again, was not a big accomplishment for a DC film. I thought the editing was kind of sloppy and all over the place. Not as bad as Batman vs. Superman, but it was still a little glaring at times. And they really need to start slowing down the development of these DC films. I do think that they could go forward and have some really good movies, because I do see a lot of potential, especially with Batman vs. Superman and the Suicide Squad, but I just don't see that potential put to what it could really end up being if they really got it. And Suicide Squad, while it was a decent movie, it could have been better. I did enjoy it. It did have some good moments, but overall, it just wasn't enough. But it's not to say I didn't like the movie at all, but it's not something where I was like coming out of the theater like, oh, that was a great movie. It was more so like, oh, I wish they would have done this better, or oh, I saw this and nothing came from it, and things like that. So overall, it was decent, not great, not bad. It was just kind of in the middle and kind of just a small blip on the radar as far as the summer movies. But considering how poor the summer movies were this year, it was toward the better side of them. Okay, now to go over a couple of spoilers. I really liked the character of June. I thought the internal struggle was well played. I really liked the transformation from June to Enchantress, so I thought that was just really awesome the way they did that. But I also think that Enchantress was too big of a villain for the Suicide Squad. I think they really needed to go up against some human threat or something, and not something that Batman would usually go after. It was, or even Superman, really, or any of the Justice League. This felt like a villain that could literally end the world, and we're sending in a Suicide Squad of just some people with not the best of abilities, especially the one guy who can just throw a boomerang. As far as Enchantress's brother, I thought he was completely unnecessary, and I thought Enchantress could have done what was accomplished completely on her own. I thought the brother was just a very pointless addition. The CGI on Enchantress also threw me off a little bit when she was doing like her little dance thing. It wasn't the dance that I didn't like, because I saw some other people that voiced some frustration about the dancing looked weird. It wasn't that glaring for me. What was really glaring was the CGI that they used at that point, where I don't even think it was actually even her dancing. I think it was just all CGI with the stuff happening around her, so I thought that was kind of weird. I really thought that Deadshot's vision of killing Batman was very out of place. It's like we built up this character all the way through the movie as kind of like, he's a bad guy, but he kind of has a heart, especially for his daughter, and I feel like he understands Batman up to a certain level, but then all of a sudden at the end of the movie, he just wants to kill Batman. So I feel like that was a little backtrack on his character, as we were supposed to be feeling sympathetic for him. I mean, if he really has these thoughts, then why are we cheering on for him to do any type of good if he wants to literally kill Batman? I think it would have made more sense if his vision was him having fun with his daughter, or going out with his daughter and doing something, and rather than the whole Batman thing. I feel like that was not something that he would actually be thinking at that moment. I thought that, I don't even know the name of the character because it was so minor, but Scott Eastwood, who played one of the soldier guys, his death was literally one of the most stupid things I've ever seen. It's like we have El Diablo, who's going to practically sacrifice himself to take down Enchantress's brother, and then we have this like heartwarming moment of like, just do it, just set off the bomb, don't worry about me. And then we even have like Rick Flag really worried about El Diablo. About a second later, Scott Eastwood's character just blows himself up and literally commits suicide in this movie. So I really thought that was odd and not very good. It didn't fit well. Was it overlooked, or like, what is that? As for Amanda Waller, to me, she is a evil Nick Fury who needs to die a cold, cruel death. So that was my review and a little bit of spoiler talk for Suicide Squad. Sorry it took so long to do this. I just kept putting it off and I don't know why. But let me know what you guys thought of the movie in the comment section below. If you liked it or disliked it, or if you were kind of like me and were in the middle, just thought it was decent. Nothing too special, but it was an enjoyable movie experience. So let me know in the comment section below. Make sure to subscribe to my gaming channel, Margot Fan Gaming. It's in the description. And make sure to follow me on social media, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And until next time, I am Margot Fan. See you guys.